What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up and Chat. My name is BJ Mathews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, as well as Spotify, TikTok, Twitter, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Instagram at _ the Pull Up _ My Instagram is B Jizzle, BJIZZLE. Follow my co-host Rick Masters at RickMaster23 on his Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Check out us on Spotify and Iheartradio every single Sunday to get all of our shows on time. You know what I'm saying? Hit that notification bell by the subscribe button on our YouTube page. Get all of our updated content. I will leave in the description box. Let's get it popping. All right, check it out. So this video is going to circulate over the MVP of the NBA based off of last night's game and based off the entire season as well. Let's just get out the way. Joel Embiid is the MVP of the NBA. Joel Embiid had a game against Giannis Antetokounmpo last night against Milwaukee. The Philadelphia 76ers won 120 to 117. I watched that game from pretty much, from start to finish. And from what I've seen, I saw Joel Embiid being the consistent, dominant player over Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis did his damage mostly in the fourth quarter, but as far as consistency throughout the entire game, Joel Embiid was the best player on the floor, most valuable player on the floor. He had 42 points, 14 rebounds, for 14 for 21 shooting, as well as 11 for 14 free throws. He has 5 assists as well. And down the stretch, I was watching Joel Embiid operate against guys like Serge Ibaka, Bobby Portis. Who else was guarding? There was another player. Somebody else was guarding Joel Embiid, but it was mostly Serge Ibaka and Bobby Portis, right? And Chris Middleton as well. Chris Middleton. But it was like pretty much you couldn't have nobody really defend him. Joel Embiid has been doing this all season. He has been healthy. He's been available. He's been leading this team. They're the third team in the Eastern Conference right now. Ahead of Milwaukee, who's number 5th. So all the checks go to Joel Embiid. But let's first define what the MVP and what that means and how do we determine who gets the MVP. So let's get it going. So check it out. MVP is not the best player in the NBA. I know it's going to take a little time for people to understand this, but the MVP goes to the person who's the most valuable. The best player in the world, to me, that's a year-by-year case. That's something that you develop year by year. You can say Giannis is the best player in the world, right? While saying Joel Embiid is having the best season, which is why you should give him the MVP. The MVP is the person who has the best season based off of the record of the team first, his impact, stats, as well as momentum, right? Momentum. Those 4 things that I look at when you talk about MVP. Like we said, Joel Embiid's he's been healthy. So that's been the main question mark for Joel Embiid throughout the last couple of years. Could he be healthy? Because if he could be healthy and play all the games that he's supposed to play, he can most likely win the MVP. Last year, you can make that case. If he had not missed about almost 20 games last year down the stretch, they would have gave it to him over Nikola Jokic. All respect to Nikola Jokic for what he did, but he played every single game except one game, I believe. And Joel Embiid got the short end of the stick because he didn't play. He wasn't available. It's like going to work. I can't give you, credit or benefits if you're not at work showing up. So that's when Nikola Jokic does do well. He's available. So the three players that's been in the MVP race has been Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. The past couple of weeks, those have been the 3 top MVP candidates. Ja Morant's in there, DeMar DeRozan's in there, Chris Paul's in there, Devin Booker's in there. But it's been primarily those 3 players, right? So if I think about it, we're talking about the entire season, right? We got to remember this. Joel Embiid is the leading leader in scoring in the whole NBA, right? He's averaging somewhere a little bit over 10 rebounds. He's averaging somewhere around 3 assists a game. He's shooting at about 50% from the field. He's shooting around 30% from 3. He's making his free throws at 81%. He leads this Philadelphia team as the third seed in the Eastern Conference without Ben Simmons. You guys got to remember, Ben Simmons hasn't been available. James Harden hasn't played yet. I don't look at Philly as this all-star team before they got James Harden. They were an okay team, but Joel Embiid has been the reason why their team is the way they are because by example. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you line up Joel Embiid with Giannis Antetokounmpo, um, Nikola Jokic, Ja Morant, DeMar DeRozan, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Joel Embiid has the best case based off of the team he has, what he's done with the team, the seat that the Philadelphia 76ers are in the Eastern Conference, the stats that Joel Embiid is putting up, and without his second co-star for the entirety of the season. Now, let me bring up the co-star for a second. This is very important. James Harden, if he's a good teammate, he can make it easier for Embiid to win that MVP if he doesn't come here and mess it up. Because I see it like this: for this to work, Embiid has to be the first option. Now, I think Harden is going to make it work with Embiid because he wants to win, and I think that he's going to be a great fit with Embiid. Um, he's a perfect point guard. I feel like because you guys remember Harden last season with the Brooklyn Nets was their primary point guard. When he first got there, he was in the top 5 in the MVP conversation. So if James Harden doesn't come in here and try to play like he did in Houston, which I don't think he's going to do, he's going to make it even easier for Embiid to get the MVP because, like I said, Embiid's the front runner. So it's the MVP is for him to lose. I think people are getting it twisted thinking that Nikola Jokic or Giannis Antetokounmpo or any of these other guys can just take the MVP from Joel Embiid. It's not like that. Joel Embiid, everything is set up for him to win the MVP. So all he has to do is stay healthy, stay consistent, keep winning, and don't miss no games. Right? Because as long as he does that, it doesn't matter what the other contestants do. And if he's able to win these head-to-head matchups against these top other players like he did last night against Giannis, um, then it's going to even propel him even higher. And let me say a little bit about last night's game. Giannis became more relevant the last couple of weeks in the MVP discussion. Yes, he's been in the MVP discussion all season, but after that win against the Lakers a couple weeks ago or a week ago, that's when he started to re-insert himself in the top 3 with Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid. But um, I'll say this about Giannis Antetokounmpo versus Joel Embiid. I believe Giannis is the best player, and I think Joel Embiid. I think he's just so gifted and talented that he tends to, I wouldn't say take plays off, but he seems to pace himself. His motor is what I think is going to really have to be in question and is going to be challenged. He can do everything on the court, Joel Embiid I'm talking about. But the effort that Giannis gives actually gives him an advantage to the point where he's able to have more possessions, have more opportunities to have better possessions. Vice versa, Joel Embiid, who's kind of like, trotting down the floor and, taking his time, which is fine. But I'm just saying Giannis's motor is what helps him and gives him an advantage over a lot of players in the NBA, his dominance as well. But I just think based off of the entire qualifications for getting the MVP, I think Joel Embiid checks the most boxes off. Nikola Jokic, to me, like I said, I mean, he's doing well. I think he's averaging a triple double or close to it. Um, what he's doing with that Denver team is unbelievable. But they're the 6th seed in the Western Conference, and unfortunately, we don't give moral prizes over here. Joel Embiid's without his second co-star for the most of the year, for all the year, and Nikola Jokic's been without a second co-star. So I mean, at this point, it's kind of like Joel Embiid. It's not like he has like a full roster as well. So he's doing what he's doing, and he's the 3rd seed in the Eastern Conference. Devin Booker and Chris Paul cancel each other out, so I don't think they're going to get the MVP. Ja Morant, little up and down. You got to remember they were a top seed when Ja Morant got hurt. They won 10 games in a row. Memphis, I'm talking about. They have a good team. DeMar DeRozan, they can't seem to beat the best teams. They can't seem to beat the top teams. That's why I can't really give him the MVP or, ahead of Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is the only player I can look at and just say he checks every single box. But those are my opinions. Joel Embiid is still the front runner of the MVP. I believe he'll win the MVP as long as he continues to stay consistent and that he doesn't blow it and James Harden doesn't blow it. But that's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying? Check all of our comments. You know what I'm saying? Is Joel Embiid the MVP? Do y'all believe that Joel Embiid is going to stay healthy? Do you believe somebody else is going to get the MVP over him? Let me know what y'all think. You know what I mean? Pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull it up. Peace. Out of here like swimwear.